Today on the UOFanatic Podcast, we will be preparing you for Illumination's Minion Land at Universal Studios Florida. But first, we'll catch up on some news and some happenings around the resort. And lastly, we'll talk about some HHN updates.
Hello? This is Jonah Jameson. Roger, over. Is this thing on?
My name is Angus, and I am a UOFanatic. Welcome to the show. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review on your platform of choice by searching UOFanatic, also on YouTube. Follow along and continue the conversation at UOFanaticPod on Twitter as well. I'm sure you would not be surprised to hear that there was plenty of news in the past week, and a lot of it had to do with Halloween Horror Nights. But today, we'll push the Horror Night news specifically to the end of the show to give people a break if they have had enough for the past couple of episodes. But we do have a couple of other items we can tackle before the main topic. Passholder Appreciation Days are August 15th through September 30th. They do this every year. Universal celebrates its loyal fans with exclusive perks, after-hour events on August 15th and 16th, special merchandise including anniversary magnets and Coca-Cola Freestyle cups, unique menu items across the resort, and discounts on express passes, Volcano Bay cabanas, and hotel stays. Now, the after-hour events, you have to reserve, and they go very quickly, and they are already booked. I know with all the Horror Night stuff going on this year, I didn't pay enough attention to this, so I promise next year to do a little bit better a job at getting people prepared. But basically, if you have any level of an annual pass, Universal does this every year, and it's just special perks, basically, right? Universal has definitely expressed its appreciation for annual pass holders as long as I can remember. We got a music release. Celestial Park music release. Universal has dropped 3 songs from the Celestial Park soundtrack on streaming platforms, with a full album, vinyl and digital, coming in 2026. The park features 40 hours of musical content, with 14 hours being original compositions. Attractions like Stardust Racers and Constellation Carousel have dynamic soundtracks that change based on the time of day or ride cycle. This is pretty good. Universal has since rectified it, but long ago they had a Islands of Adventure soundtrack sold in their shops, and, it was very popular. But then it just disappeared and they didn't put it on streaming platforms. But of course, as you know, they have since rectified that. And it looks like this is a step in that same direction, which I think is great. I'll tell you, I have not listened to the 3 tracks yet because, to be honest, I've managed to avoid spoilers that much that I don't even want to hear those before I see Epic Universe. So I have one more month to wait. 2 brand new buses caught fire outside of Epic Universe. No injuries were reported. The buses were part of Universal's new fleet, and the fire was quickly extinguished, but both buses were heavily damaged. We got some pretty good photos from WESH, a news organization in Orlando. We also got some pretty good pictures from the park, from just people in the guests, and it looked a little scary because it looked like the fire was right behind Dark Universe, but in actuality, it was quite a bit of ways from there, but still. We do have a refurb at Skull Island Reign of Khan coming up August 20th to 29th. Something to keep in mind if you're visiting. And, of course, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket will permanently close on August 18th. All right, let's dive into the main topic today. Go into a deep dive for Illumination's Minion Land. In August 23, Minion Land became a reality. Prior to that, you just had Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, sitting there kind of on its own without a theme land around it. They have absolutely knocked it out of the park with what they've done to the section of the park. And while it doesn't offer a lot of thrill or anything like that, it has significantly changed the theming of the park. And you can tell as they start to go around this park, they're going to correct the mistakes of their past. We all win because of Epic Universe. Let's talk about Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem. This is a 3D motion simulator ride at Universal Studios Florida that immerses you in the chaotic, banana-fueled world of the Minions. Gru is basically recruiting humans and turning them into minions so that he can rule the world. This attraction has a minimum height of 40 inches, and under 48 inches requires a supervising companion. Stationary seating is available if motion sickness is a concern. This could help a lot. It does also offer Express Pass. As you approach the attraction, the show building itself is Gru's house, as depicted in the logo. It looks great. It looked great on its own, but now that they've done the entire area around it, it really, it looks fantastic. Drew, Margot, Edith, and Agnes, as well as 1 million of favorite minions, will be seen in this attraction. This is definitely not an e-ticket attraction, but it is a theater attraction where you load in, big screen, simulate motion, and there is movement within the seats. From pre-show to actual show is about 20 minutes, and the main show itself takes about 8. So you can see it's a slow process. So it's not a very high capacity attraction. So the wait can build pretty high pretty quickly. If this attraction is important to you or your family, you may want to knock it out early because of this. It's the only attraction outside of Diagon Alley that is open for early entry. So honestly, it would be a good use if you headed there immediately. Historically, the average wait time is 38 minutes, and we get that data from thrillData.com. Honestly, the best part of this attraction is the pre-show. It's just absolutely hilarious. I wouldn't say it's something that, if you have young children and you may have to do these for sure, but as in, teenagers and adults, I wouldn't say it's something you do every time, but you'll find yourself wanting to do it a little bit just because like I said, the pre-show is actually really good. The most recent attraction added to the land is Illumination's Villain Con Minion Blast. This is an interactive game where you are auditioning to be in the coveted sixth member of the Vicious Six. Armed with an Eliminator X blaster and moving on a conveyor belt, blast your way to infamy. This takes place at a villain convention. So if you think about any like big Comic-Con and that kind of a visual, they nailed it. And the queue and all that leading up to the attraction is just, it's a lot of fun. It's very funny, very well done. Handheld infants are not permitted, and anyone under 48 inches must be accompanied by a supervising companion. Basically, you have to be able to stand. That's the rules for this attraction. It's a conveyor belt. You hold an Eliminator X blaster, which by the way is pretty heavy. So if you have a really small child, they may struggle with that. So the team members can give you a fake version of the gun that's a lot lighter, and your child probably won't know the difference. So just don't let them know it's fake. This is an express pass attraction as well. So the outside of the queue is very bland, but once indoors, you have a great view, as I said, like the convention floor showing off the latest and greatest in villains, weapon technology. It's great photo ops here. And historical wait time average is only 13 minutes. So this is a great attraction when the parks start to get busy, period. Don't rush this in the morning. Don't rush it as the last thing you want to do. But, in the maybe after lunch or whatever, and this is one of those attractions that when things are the worst, it's probably going to be fine. I am unapologetically a big fan of this attraction, and the community is not so nice. It's a video game where you just move through different rooms. Like I said, you're standing on a conveyor belt. You move through different rooms in total chaos. You can't tell which gun is yours, but to me, it just doesn't matter. There's also another downside. It's a lot sometimes when it's very busy, there's latency becomes an issue. The response and delay from you moving your gun around and pushing the button, latency becomes a problem. You can connect your phone through the app to get collectibles and even power-ups to use going forward. That's completely done in the universal phone app. I wish I had some great tips for you right now. It's fun, competitive, low weight, and it's air conditioned, so I'm all in. But you've heard all the downsides. So I'm probably the reason. I'm probably the one at fault here. But like I said, I actually do really enjoy it. This used to be the Shrek attraction prior. I guess it's a rumor, but They only used one of the two Shrek theaters so that it could be available as an HHN house, but they haven't yet done so. So until they've done that, I guess it will stay a rumor. And every once in a while during Halloween Horror Nights and you start hearing about another house, this would be the spot we would at least expect it to be dropped in. Next in Minion Land, we have the Illumination Theater. This really is just a character meet and greet. And here you can meet Drew, Margot, Edith, Agnes, and minions. On occasion, they used to have Victor out there, a fan favorite, but I haven't seen much or haven't heard much of that lately. But it definitely used to happen. And sometimes they have the stars from like Sing, like Rosita, Gunter, and Johnny. But is a sign outside the theater that will usually indicate what characters are scheduled to appear next and when. There are some great food options here in Minion Land. And the main eatery is the Illuminations Minion Cafe. This is a quick service with mobile ordering using the official Universal Orlando app. They have Coke Freestyle. Entrees on average are about $17 or $18, and the child options are $9.49. There is a limited beer and wine selection available as well. They serve lunch and dinner, and they feature bowl sandwiches, soup and salad, and of course, Minion Tots. Everything is Instagram worthy, just like the environment around us. Otto's Pet Rock is a big fan favorite. It's a dessert. It's peanut butter mousse, strawberry jelly, crushed peanuts, banana cake dipped in a chocolate shell. Couple of tips: take a good look around. This is another one of those places where they really themed everything great. It's a big it's got several rooms, it's big and open, and there is a lot to look at. It can definitely be a bit chaotic here, so if possible, eat outside during the typical dining hours. Come a little early for lunch or a little late for lunch, as an example. If you are in the area and caught in a storm, what a great place to hang out, even if you're not hungry, because then you can just really kind of get a good look around. Bake My Day. This is a bakery, a confectionery, and a souvenir shop all in one. They sell candy, even candy by the pound, but the real heroes here are the baked goods. They're so creative and almost too good to eat. Almost. Freeze Ray Pops, something I haven't experienced myself, but it's basically a walk-up booth featuring Minion-themed popsicles. Reviews are very mixed, which is why I haven't really probably taken the time yet, but reviews are mixed, but everyone agrees that they look good. Not the best thing you wanna hear from your food, I guess, though. Pop Anana. What is Minion-themed popcorn? That's right, banana popcorn, and here's where you could buy it. They do have souvenir buckets. There is also a banana bread flavored beer here, which I have not had, but it's on my list to try. And then, of course, there's plenty of shops and in the area as well. The Universal Studios store is really here. It's not technically part of Minionland, but it's the closest thing, so it's where you got to cover it. This is right near the entrance or exit of the park, depending on your direction. It's a very large souvenir shop. It has a little bit of everything or a lot of everything. And it's conveniently located as you make your way out of the park. This is where you can go for that last minute thing. Super silly stuff. This is your go to for exclusive Despicable Me merchandise, including toys, apparel, candy, and Gru approved gadgets. Evil stuff. This is a must visit for the Villain Con essentials like toy blasters, themed apparel, quirky souvenirs such as pins, magnets, and keychains. Here's where you can get those Eliminator blaster rifles that I mentioned earlier from the attraction. That is lighter so that you could give it to a kid, but here's where you could actually buy one. And that's basically all that there is in Minion Land. It is just such a vast improvement to what that area used to look like. I Studios is my favorite park. I haven't been to Epic yet, but theming was never a strong suit. It's the way it's laid out. For one thing, you've got a lagoon and everything around it, so you can see everywhere. It's not tight like in Islands of Adventure. But most of the park was just, you know, this is here and that's here and that's here, and there's no cohesion. And now they're starting to rectify that. And you know what? I'm a big fan and I appreciate it. So as we keep adding things like Epic and everything, they're going to start to touch this up. And I think that's great. So before we wind things down, here's as promised, we have some more Horror Night news over the past week. So I just thought I'd talk about it a little bit. We've got our show announcement, Hauntophonic, A Ghoulish Journey. A ghost story is rising from its watery grave to haunt the Universal Studios lagoon, featuring towering water screens and eerie music. This is a lagoon show. Now there was no word if we're going to have drones on this or not, but the lagoon fountains were damaged a couple of years ago in a hurricane very early on in that particular Halloween Horror Night season. And I hadn't been there yet. So I haven't seen this now for at least 3 years. So we're just glad to have something back. Can't wait to see what they do. If we get drones, it's a bonus. But basically, it'll run like 3 or 4 times probably during Horror Nights. And it's just great to gets the crowds out of the way, disperses the crowds very well. And it takes obviously it's easy to see because the next news item is a lot more difficult. Show announcement: Nightmare Fuel Circus of Decay. This once vibrant circus has featured into an unending nightmare, its sinister spectacle of pyro, airless, and illusions. This is a bunch of beautiful people dressed in very little who are super talented dancers and performers and a lot of fire, and I mean a lot of fire. The only downside to this show is you have to invest time to see it. They do several shows a night. I think it's 4 shows a night, and you will need to get out there at least 30 minutes before the show to get it. Then you get piled into this cramped, very hot theater because of the metal roof on the top. It just radiates the heat back down at you. And it's a lot. It's an investment. Now, I absolutely think you should always do it. But I do want to warn you when you hear people talking about some people, I know a lot of people who go to Horror Nights all the time and still never done it. And I think that's a shame because they're super talented. It's a really, really good show. This sounds like it's just a continuation from the story we had last year because they did have a circus thing, but each year they tweak it just enough to keep it interesting. And I am looking forward to it, but I am not looking forward to the process. We finally got our Five Nights at Freddy house announcement. You wouldn't last one night at Freddy's, let alone 5. You're about to start the night watch at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where nothing is what it seems. You'll be hunted by the deadly animatronics Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy as you flee through creepy, abandoned hallways. You'll even encounter the ghosts in the machines. It was a little bit of a letdown that they just announced this because the next house announcement I'm going to have, they both just dropped in the same day. So it didn't even have its own day to shine. When this was the first thing to be announced in the beginning because of an accident, I don't want to get into all that, but a little bit of, I mean, I'm not disappointed in the property. I think this could be great. Saw some of the animatronics when I went to Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood a couple of years ago, and they're impressive. So I am looking forward to it. I'm just a little disappointed at how they made us wait all this time, and then they just kind of dropped it as an afterthought from the next announcement, which I'll move into right now, which is by no shock to anyone, WWE presents The Horrors of the Wyatt Six. You're about to go head to head with the fiendish Wyatt Six at Halloween Horror Nights. Enter an eerie arena where you'll go through an ominous lantern-lit doorway into the maniacal minds of Uncle Howdy, Rambling Rabbit, Mercy the Buzzard, Abby the Witch, and Huskus the Pig. Beware, you are about to meet your match. This is, we've talked about it. I'm pretty excited. The art looked good. Hearing other people talk about it. Mike Aiello, who I've mentioned before, the kind of the mastermind behind Halloween Horror Nights for at least the generation that I've been going, is a big, big wrestling fan. And I've seen him at the event with wrestlers many times. And this is going to be a passion project for him. So that means it's gonna be amazing because he's gonna put so much effort into this, so I can't wait. I don't know much about this, but I'm going to learn a little bit before I go, and I'm just as excited for this as anything. My favorite bit of Halloween Horror Nights news of all is that because of, people going through the park to see what's changed and what's new, they brought pumpkins back to Central Park. If you've never seen it before, because it's been gone for a few years, and it's not something they always do, but on several occasions, they have put a lot of pumpkins up in the trees in Central Park, and it looks absolutely amazing even in the day, but at night, it's insane when the mall lit up. It's just I don't know, nothing feels more like Halloween than walking through that particular scare zone with those pumpkins. It's amazing. A little bit of fog, the smell of that fog. I cannot wait. Sign me up. I am so ready. And we only have 1 month to go. All right. Now that is going to do it. So let's wind this down. So let me ask you, what part of Minion Land are you most looking forward to, or what was your favorite thing at Minion Land? Please leave a comment below or on Twitter to UOFanaticPod. I'd love to hear what you are looking forward to most and when you might be going. While we're on the topic, please like and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. I would also really appreciate it if you spread the word about the show or share an episode on social media. I really would appreciate your support. Speaking of support, if you would like to support the show, please consider allowing me to assist you and book your Universal vacations. I am an authorized Universal Orlando Resort specialist with decades of experience at touring the Universal Orlando Resort. Remember, my services cost nothing to you, absolutely free. I am paid for by Universal Destinations. Find out more at UOFanatic.com, where you can fill out a short form on the main page to let me know how to get in touch with you about your Universal Orlando vacation. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Guess that wraps things up. You guys did all right. But don't give up your day job. Say cheese. See you later.
Congratulations, you're here.